Good afternoon, everyone. I'm sitting here in my office in Pittsburgh, and it's hard to believe in mid-February we have 65-degree weather, a beautiful sunny day. It's been great the last few days, and I'm sure almost everywhere I talk to, whether it's Virginia or New York or Ohio or Michigan, it's just magnificent weather. And what does that tell us? We got a very early spring. Today is like an April or May day, and we should be selling a lot of houses. A lot more people should be out looking at houses in the evenings than typically, and it's so nice to show a house in February and be able to walk into the backyard not in 6 inches of snow. So good times, great start to this new year with this wonderful weather. I wanted to say congratulations to so many people who not only attended and won awards at the awards rallies, but all the folks at the Howard Hanna Company who supported putting the rallies together so far. We had tremendous turnouts of almost 1,000 people in Pittsburgh and over 1,000 folks in Cleveland for our Midwest group, and great event up in Rochester, New York, and then back into the Virginia market. So it's been a great time, and we've had a wonderful time being with you and with all this and accomplishing all the successes that we had last year as we go into next year. Week after next, we'll be in New York State, in Buffalo, Syracuse, the Southern Tier, and Albany, and looking forward to seeing so many of you and congratulating you for such a great year. As we finish up our awards and we get into this busy early spring season, I wanted to talk about a couple things that are so important. And as long as I've been in the business, and as long as anybody that has been successful in the business knows that in real estate brokerage, you must list to last. And so I throw that out right now because I know we're busy with buyers and we're running around and we're doing a lot of great things and getting properties closed in an early season right now. But let's talk about listings and where listings are going to be going. And as Wayne Gretzky said, he doesn't see where the puck is at the moment in time. He feels where it's going to be in the next couple of moments. And he gets to the puck before anybody else does. And so I throw out a couple things for all of us to be thinking about. Building our listing base, building our exclusive listings, which is the key fundamental strength to this industry and has always been at Howard Hanna, the number one backbone of our success is controlling the listing market. So I'm going to throw out a couple of things. As everybody's heard me talk in the past, you got to have some plan of working on listings every day. So I'm going to throw out a couple of new ideas that I think are where the puck's going to be later in the year, be ahead of the puck. One, we are starting to see, and we've been seeing the last 6 months, and I do think with the current administration in Washington, we're going to see an easing of not just so much credit for home buyers, but easing of folks getting back into the residential development business, as well as the home building business. A key strength of all of our offices and all of our people in new construction has been the independent builder and the independent developer. And clearly, since the Great Recession of real estate, that had died down, slowed down. But we're seeing that start to be impacted. We're starting to see that coming back. And I think 2017, we're going to see a lot more new developments coming on board from our kinds of clients. So I think we should be out there looking for land to bring the land to developers that have dealt with us in the past that want to get back into the marketplace and will get back in the marketplace with acquisitions in 2017. Second, I think we ought to keep our abreast of our local municipalities. And I know we've got a couple people, and I know Cleveland, a couple people in the Pittsburgh market, that they actually go in on a monthly basis and sit down with the local borough or community manager, a municipal manager, and just ask what's going on in the township, what's going on in the borough, what's going on in the city of new construction. Does anybody come in and talk about developing new land? That get great leads, but you got to be consistent about it. You got to stay in front of them. That's another second way that we should be doing more of that in 2017. Third is we should look at all of the residential developments that are currently out there in your marketplace. Look at those developments and see maybe ones that have not done very well the last few years. Because I think with our marketing behind it, and I think with the turn of what we're going to be able to get builders to come in and get spec financing for houses, we can get some of these markets, some of these developments turned around. So I want to go out and start talking to the owners of these developments that have been lingering around and talking about a new alternative, a new plan to get their lots sold and get the houses sold. So I just lay that out because I think we're going to see a resurgence of our independent builder this coming year. We're going to see a resurgence of our independent developers, and we got to be in the forefront finding that land and finding lots for builders to come into the plan. And we're going to be working on trying to make sure that we have financing available for them to build houses. The second big rush I've seen this year is, and I read this article in the Wall Street Journal a couple weeks ago, that the investment house called BlackRock, they're a huge investment house, that they own 167,000 single family houses throughout the 50 states of the United States, all over the country, that they acquired at foreclosure and from the banks during the Great Recession. And they've been renting those houses for a decent return on what they paid for the houses. But if it's like any other private equity fund, they want to get out. They don't want to have those single family houses in Wichita and Wyoming and Washington, D.C. and anything else begins with a W or any place else, whether it's our markets or not. They don't want to hold those properties for the rest of time, okay? They tend to exit, okay? And they've been in those properties for 5, 6, 7 years. And I can tell you the Goldman Sachs and these big private equity funds, as well as small investments groups that who are buying in your market areas in the 2009, 10, 11, 12 period of time, they don't want to know those individual houses and manage them all over the country for odd infinite time. So I think they're going to start putting those houses on the market and start selling those houses. So I think we've got to get out in front of that, if we haven't already, and start to get back to those people that were buying those investment properties, getting back to people, it's tracking your own marketplace who has those investments. And it's very easy to track, because all you got to do is track the rentals. The rental houses, my guess that they're owned by an investor who probably wants to get out at one time or the other. So that's the second thing. Third is I'd like everybody to go back in their own market areas and look at properties that were in the multi-list 2 years ago, 3 years ago, that did not sell for whatever reason, whether they were too high priced, whether the market just wasn't there for it at that time, and get back to those people, whether they were your listing or not, if it was 2 or 3 year old listing, get back to those people, make the call to them, and say what the market is. We got a shortage of properties on the market. I know you had your house on the market 2 or 3 years ago and it didn't sell, but today is a different market and I'm a different realtor. And talk to those folks about what you can do, and you'll be surprised if there was 3 or 4 in your municipality that didn't sell 2 years ago. You'll be surprised that those $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 houses will be in great demand if you put it on the market in the spring of 2017. And the last, and people who know me have heard this before, my number one belief of how you build your listing base, the simplest way, is look at those for sale by owners. I saw 4 for sale by owners over $300,000 in the Cleveland Plain Dealer last week. I saw 5 houses over $300,000 in the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. I didn't get a chance to see papers in Buffalo and Ann Arbor, but I'm telling you, there's for sale by owners in there that are choice and ripe for realtors, strong, knowledgeable, aggressive realtors to go after and pick up those listings, okay? That didn't count the great listings at $150,000. I just looked at $300,000 and above, and I just think there's a lot of for sale by owners in the newspaper, a lot of for sale by owners online that we should be going after, because they will be sales 60 days from now. So that's just my thoughts on I'm sure everybody's got other ideas, but they're just 4 thoughts that I have of 4 segments of the marketplace that I think are going to be hot for this coming year. So go after and have a great rest of this week, great weekend, and sell. It's an incredible February to be in the real estate business. Thank you.